Hi guys, welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe, and today we are going to look at the 16 undrafted rookie free agents that the New Orleans Saints have brought in, and we're going to probably sign all of them, and we're going to see what happens. So this is the big list, guys. Let's pull it up, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to mention how we've met some of our needs and how we haven't met some of our needs. So after the draft was over, of course, we have 7 picks, but of course we don't meet a lot of the needs that we had. Nickel cornerback was something that I thought we needed to focus on. Interior offensive lineman as well. Also running back. We didn't get one of those in the draft. We didn't get a tight end in the draft. We only addressed defensive line once. I thought we could have used a big defensive end or even an edge rusher at defensive end at some point. And we didn't really get an X factor either. A player that can fit in a Shanahan-Kubiak style system, whether that be a wide receiver, tight end, or running back. That could be an X factor type player. So, how do we do with the rookie free agents? Well, did we address nickel cornerback? Well, we've got 3 DBs now. We've got a safety in Millard Bradford. We've got a cornerback in Rico Payton, and we've got a DB in Lawrence Johnson. So we've got 3 DBs. Maybe one of them can be good at nickel or box or can cover a tight end or something like that. Interior offensive lineman, we didn't get any of those in the draft unless Azirium kicks inside or Fuaga. I hope Fuaga stays at right tackle. I'm sure that's where he's going to stay. So did we get any interior offensive linemen? Yeah, we got a center and 2 guards. We grabbed Kyle Hergel. We grabbed center Sincere Hainsworth. And we grabbed guard Nori Newley. Okay, good, great. Running back, I thought we needed one of those. Well, we've only gotten one, Jacob Cabody. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll bring somebody else in, and we'll talk about Cabody in a second. We didn't draft a tight end. I thought we needed one of them. But the highlight of this undrafted rookie free agent list is tight end Dallin Holker out of Colorado State. My favorite that we've gotten undrafted, and we'll talk about him in a second. Defensive line. We drafted a defensive lineman in Christian Boyd. It was a great pick, great value. So we needed to grab a few more pieces, and we did. We grabbed a smaller edge rusher in Nathan Latu. We grabbed a draftable defensive tackle in Kyler Baugh. Mickey, please. Mickey, I need you to get down, baby. Hey, baby. And we also grabbed a bigger defensive end in Trajan Jeffcoat out of Arkansas. I'm going to give you the measurables and all of these guys in a second. So we did grab 3 defensive linemen here in our undrafted list. And then X Factor. Well, I don't know. Maybe some of these guys could be an X Factor. We grabbed 3 wide receivers, Jermaine Jackson, Mason Tipton, and Kyle Sheets. And the aforementioned Jacob Cabody, who could be a X Factor type as well. So, tight end, Dallin Holker, 3 wide receivers, and a running back. Perhaps we have an X Factor here. Mickey. My Miko boy wants attention, but he also wants to climb on the mouse of my computer for some reason. It's not a real mouse, Goofy. Hi, baby. He's so sweet. I'm going to pick up Miko right now so y'all can hear him squeak. I love it when he does that. He's a big cat. Okay, so let's talk about these guys. We're going to start at the top of the list. Nathan Latu out of Oklahoma State. 6'5", 250 pounds. Yep, he is a tweener. And hopefully he can provide some sort of pass rush as an edge rusher. That's what I think about when I think of these smaller guys. Being 6'5" he's pretty tall. So he can get his hands up and make something happen, perhaps. But 250 pounds, yeah. Don't know if he's the linebacker type or not, but there's your edge rusher, guys. Safety Millard Bradford out of TCU, 5'11", 190 pounds. It's right under that threshold prototype the Saints like for secondary. So we'll see if Millard Bradford can provide any box help, or if he's better deep, or if he can be a nickel. Wide receiver Jermaine Jackson, and yes, out of Idaho. And yes, this is crazy. This draft was full of players with crazy names. And I heard, what's his name? Jeff Novak. Novak? No, Nowak? Jeff Nowak? He said this was the greatest draft as far as names go for the Saints, and I think so. I think so. I mean, between Kool-Aid and Rattler and Bub, and then, of course, all of the names that are so hard to pronounce. Josiah Ezerium. And then, of course, here with Jermaine Jackson, one of the Jackson Five. He's a wide receiver, 5'7", 176 pounds. So way too small to be counted on as a wide receiver. He comes out of Idaho. I thought they had a pretty good player in Hayden Hatton, who was about 6 foot. And I thought he was a wide receiver to consider in the later rounds. And so you're looking at Hatton and you notice Jermaine Jackson and say, hey, look, this guy's not so bad. What is he going to do? He's going to return kicks, and he's pretty good at it. And that's what these small guys do. You go and grab a guy this small, you want him to be a good special teamer. So it's been working for the Saints. We got an undrafted guy in Harris Hardy a couple of years ago, and he turns out to be pretty good. Then we get one a couple of years ago and Rashid Shaheed, and he ends up being great. So, yeah, you take a chance with an undrafted smaller guy with return potential, and sometimes it hits pretty good. So, Jermaine Jackson, let's see what you can bring. Defensive tackle Kyler Bowe out of Minnesota. 6'2", 300 pounds. Exactly what the Saints like, I think. 300-pound guy that can play all 3 downs. Let's see if Kyler Bowe can bring anything. He had a draftable grade, and pretty sure he's good against the run. So I like that pickup. The punter, Matthew Hayball. Is it pronounced Highball? I believe he's Australian. Out of Vanderbilt, 6 foot, 189 pounds. So we're going to have 2 Aussie punters going at it. Hayball was one of the higher rated punters in the draft, so not a bad pick at all. Tight end Dallin Holker, of course, my favorite one, Colorado State. Really good player. I talked about him before. He seems like a receiver who's just really big. So he's got to work on his run blocking. He's 6 foot 3 inches, 241 pounds. So 6'3" isn't the greatest height. It's not short. And, yeah, he's pretty light. He's basically the same size as Brock Bowers. But Holker is definitely a receiver. People remember him in the Colorado State game where he came up with some big plays in that game for the Rams. I like Dallin Holker here quite a bit. I like him as an X-Factor type. If we can get him better at run blocking, I believe this kind of player can fit a fullback or tight end spot where you're an H-back, you're blocking on the move, you're splitting out and running routes and stuff like that, and you become a mismatch for linebackers. But if Holker's going to be a good player in this league, he's going to have to learn how to inline block. He's going to have to learn how to run block better. That's the bottom line. But a great pickup. He might as well be included as an extra draft pick because he had a very high draftable grade. Another guy with a high draftable grade, Mason Tipton, wide receiver out of Yale. He was expected to go in the 7th round. We get him as a rookie free agent, 5 foot 10 inches, 179 pounds. So yeah, he's smaller, and we'll see if he can bring anything to the return game or special teams. But Tipton has a lot of ability as a wide receiver. So I expect Tipton to be pretty active and, quite possibly a practice squad candidate when it's all said and done. Wide receiver Kyle Sheets out of Slippery Rock. And yes, every year the Saints are going to grab a player from a college you had no idea existed. I had no idea there was a college named Slippery Rock. This guy's interesting. 6 foot 4 inches, 220 pounds. He is huge. You want a big body, you go get a big body. So we got an average receiver size in Tipton, a huge receiver in Sheets, and a return guy in Jermaine. Of the Jackson 5, no. Okay, so Kyle Sheets, Slippery Rock, love it, big body. We're all going to be cheering for this guy in preseason. I see it now. This happens every year. We get a really big guy, and we all want him to do really well from a small school. So let's see if Sheets can make it to the preseason. It's going to be interesting. 6 foot 220, great size for a wide receiver. Wow. All right, another guy with a draftable grade, guard Kyle Hergel out of Boston College. We're looking at Christian Mahogany. We're bringing him in for a visit. He's at Boston College. I'm thinking this guy Mahogany is worth a third round pick. He's a 3rd round grade for me. He falls into the 4th. He falls into the 5th. He falls into the 6th. The Saints keep passing him up. And I'm thinking Mahogany might not be good enough. Maybe the interview wasn't very good. Or maybe they saw Kyle Hergel and said, he's just as good as Mahogany. Let's just go ahead and grab him. 6 foot 2, 315 pounds. And yeah, Hergel had a draftable grade. So I like this. This is one of my favorite pickups in the undrafted rookie session here. Wow. Good job. We needed some interior help. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm looking at the college he's coming from, I see Jermaine Jackson went to Idaho. I had a higher grade on Hayden Hatton. Maybe the Saints say Jermaine Jackson's worth a shot as a returner. And maybe they think that Kyle Hergel's just as good at guard as anybody else they could draft. We'll see. Cornerback Rico Payton out of Pittsburgh State. 5'11", 188 pounds. He's a good size for a cornerback. And we'll see what kind of skills he has. I don't know much about Rico Payton at all. Linebacker Isaiah Stallbird out of South Dakota State. There's a college that I had a feeling the Saints were going to get somebody from. San Diego State, I translate what they do on offense to what the Saints would do. And so I'm looking at players like offensive tackle, what's his name? And then the guard, Garrett Greenfield at tackle, the guard, Mason McCormick, the running back, Isaiah Davis. I'm looking at all of those guys and saying, yeah, you never know, But no, we go with the linebacker that's on defense. I don't know what linebacker spot Isaiah played. 6 foot, 221 pounds. So yeah, he's short and he's light. This reminds me of Anderson from Tulane last year. We're going to get Stallbird in here. Maybe we saw he was pretty active on defense when we were scouting South Dakota State. I keep saying San Diego State. South Dakota State's offense. Maybe Stallbird stuck out to us. Defensive back Lawrence Johnson. Not sure if he's a cornerback or a safety. Out of Southeast Missouri State, and I know that college because Ryan Flournoy is the wide receiver that got drafted in the 6th round from there by the Cowboys, and I'm going to keep an eye on Flournoy because I loved him. And there's another one from Southeast East Missouri State. The DB and Lawrence Johnson. Maybe we're looking at Flournoy, and then all of a sudden, ooh, hey, Johnson's not so bad. 6 foot, 201 pounds. Good size for a cornerback. But I have him listed as a DB. I don't know exactly what position he plays. Running back Jacob Cabody out of Louisiana Lafayette. Well, here's the only running back that we went and got through the whole process so far. And I'm hoping he turns into something special. His 40 time is like 4.5, so he's not a blazer at all. But he is 6 foot 1 inches tall, and he's 218 pounds. So he's a big back. And I'm pretty sure he fits into this scheme. Otherwise, we wouldn't be bringing him in. Yeah, I got issues with us not addressing running back. And if Cabody turns out to be a special player, the Saints are going to impress me. Center Sincere Haynesworth out of Tulane. Draftable grade on this guy. Don't think we need a center. Don't know if he projects to play guard or not. He's only 6 foot 1 inches, and he weighs 300 pounds. So when a guy is this light, this short, it's tough to make it in the league. But very high grade on him, so going to give him a shot and see what Haynesworth out of Tulane can do. Guard Nori Nuili out of Nebraska, 6 foot 3 inches tall, 310 pounds. So I like getting Hergel and Haynesworth and Nuili in here. 3 interior offensive linemen, and we needed help there, so we're going to let these guys battle it out and see what happens. And then finally, defensive end, Trajan Jeffcoat out of Arkansas, the bigger defensive end that I thought we needed. You get the edge rusher in Nathan Latu, and now you have Jeffcoat at 6 foot 4 inches, 266 pounds. That is right around where Brennan Jackson is. A little smaller than what Cedric Johnson is. It was a position I thought we needed to fill, a big defensive end. Got a bunch of edge rushers. So overall, there you go, 16 players. Not bad. I'm pretty high on a couple of them, so I'm going to highlight Jermaine Jackson for his return ability. Let's see what happens there. The punter and Hayball. It's going to be an interesting battle all offseason. And then my other highest rated guys, Dallin Holker out of the bunch at tight end. Defensive tackle, Kyler Bowe. Wide receiver, Mason Tipton. Guard, Kyle Hergel. Center, Sincere Haynesworth. Those are the guys I'm really high on. As well as Sean Payton having running back Blake Watson out of Memphis as an undrafted guy. We're coming after him. We're coming after Watson, Payton. All right, that is my breakdown of our undrafted guys. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10. I will be doing a video breaking down our new offense and defense, how our rosters look with all of these new additions. It's going to be great. It's going to be full. It's going to be chock-a-block. And subscribe, and we'll be talking about it. Leave your comments down low. Like and share the videos. I'm Joe once again, and I will talk to you later. Who dat?